Well, my name is Megan Barnard. I'm the Director of Food Service for Maize USD 266. We have almost 8,000 students and we have 12 serving sites where we're serving kids that are a little bit higher income than some of the districts around us. And we had not done anything with farm to school in my first 3 years. And historically, Maize has not ever done anything like that. And we got a new hire, an administrative assistant, who really pushed us to try to source some local items. I always thought that was something that we were too big for. And so I've always kind of ignored some of the communication from our consultants with KSDE. I always felt like, well, that's something that a little rural school could do because they have more connections. And then once we got into it, we did realize that we can start small and add and figure it out as we go with the farmer. So that was our process, was first having someone who was within our team that was passionate about it to kind of give us the kick in the right direction. And then just to start the conversation and realize that it's not going to be smooth and it's not going to be everything all at once, but starting implementing it with a little bit at a time was helpful. So I saw on Facebook the Firefly Farm, and I used to live in the area near it. So I was familiar with it, had been there once or twice just as a consumer. And I just reached out to them on Facebook and said, I see your stuff. Do you ever sell to schools or bulk? You know, what's the biggest customer you have? And so then they had us out to their farm on the Rise parking garage and just gave us a tour. And we just kind of went back and forth on ideas of, in a perfect world, we'd like to do this, but right now with the scale, we're only able to do maybe this other option. And so just kind of meeting and talking and realizing that it is new to both the school and the farmer, I think was important to have ideas, but also just see what we could do to begin that conversation. So we didn't really know moving at the very beginning what was required. And so we had to spend a little bit of time looking up our resources from farm to school under KSDE's website and finding what was required, and then working on with them to get a copy of their HACCP plan and some of their other food safety plans. It was stuff that they had also planned to work on, but maybe didn't have in writing. So it was a little bit of time to get that information from them and realizing that that's not their main source of income, isn't our schools. So giving them the time to be able to get that information to us. When we, as a school district, use federal funds to make food purchases, we have to have fair and equitable purchasing. So traditionally, in a district our size, if I bid out, say, our delivery pizza or our milk, or even just our general vendor for food, we have to put it out for a bid because it will be over a certain amount. And so we haven't quite made it to the threshold where we have to do that with our local goods, but we can use a micro purchase, and under purchasing guidelines that allows us to kind of use who we'd like, and then we need to use someone else if it comes available. So if we're able to get something similar with another farmer, we should kind of spread the wealth, is how you'd word it, to make sure we are giving fair and open competition to others. Right now we haven't made any connections to where we have to really worry about that. But if we did, we would want to say purchase first quarter, we might purchase everything from one vendor, and then second quarter, we might use another farmer. Love a farmer to reach out to us. That would be easier. I've used the website to be able to look up farmers, but I haven't followed up much with that because it is a lot of work for our school district to do. And when we're dealing with shortages of staff, or sometimes we're still having a little bit of food shortage issues, that's just the last thing you want to have to do. But again, I reached out to Leah and Rise and Firefly Farm in the summer when we had a little bit less going on, probably a busier time for her actually. But we've also reached out to a couple other farmers just organically that are in our area. So one of our board members, every fall, early fall, he brings watermelons to the district and he gives them to all the district staff office. You can just take them. And so we reached out to him and said, hey, if we gave you a quantity, could you plant that much for us? And he declined. But having that connection of just, oh, this is someone in our area who has a crop that we could purchase was exciting. It didn't pan out, but I think with using a farmer like that, we'd have to use like district maintenance staff to pick up the watermelon and deliver it to schools. And that's just a little bit more cumbersome than something like cherry tomatoes. That's a lot easier or weighs a lot less. It would be great if people would reach out to me and say, hey, here's all my stuff. Here's all my food safety, my HACCP plan. And here is our prices. And I think a big thing is delivery, since that's where we kind of ran into issues with our local board member who's a farmer. Knowing what they have in a poundage amount to offer would be big. Their food safety, their HACCP plan. If they have any certifications like all organic that we could market to our customer as well, knowing that upfront would be good. And then when we as a school district purchase items, we're going to need a W-9 from them to set them up as a vendor. And then we're going to have to give them a tax exempt certificate. So kind of having that as a checklist item, maybe that exchange of information there. Our district did a post about our partnership with Leah in August. And so then in the end of in December 22, they do a countdown of the biggest posts with the most responses. And ours was number 2. So we had the most feedback on social media from the district, all the different posts that the district's done, which some of those are like state championships, some are like our solar initiative, some are more education focused. So like that was the most responded to or interacted with posts that our district had, aside from one other one. So I think that's huge.